Strawberry pie seems pretty straightforward, right? Not so much. When strawberries are cooked in a pie, they release so much juice that they create a really soggy crust, especially a soggy bottom crust. Plus, strawberries lose their nice, firm, juicy taste and texture, creating a mushy, bland filling. Not to worry though, I'm gonna help you solve all of those problems with this bright, bold strawberry streusel pie. Let's get started. All right, first up, we're just gonna roll out the crust. And if you wanna see me making the crust, check out my ultra flaky pie crust video on my channel. That'll show you step-by-step how to make this crust. I made this one a few days ago and it's been in the fridge, so it is a great one to make ahead if you have something coming up. Now what I like to do is just press it out a little bit with my hands. It makes the rolling easier. Then I put a little flour down, a little flour on top, a little bit on my rolling pin. And then after each roll, you give it a quarter turn, and that will help you keep it in a nice round shape so it'll fit in your pie plate. We are about to leave town, but I wanted to get this show filmed, so you may see family coming in and out. It's a little hectic over here, trying to get everybody packed. A little more on top. This is looking great. You can see all those big butter pieces in there, so we know we're gonna have a nice flaky crust. See all that butter in there? Looks great. All right, now we just take our pie plate to measure. This looks good. You want about 2 inches all the way around. All right, now we're gonna just fold this in half. Set the pie plate here. There's the word Pyrex in the middle of my pie plate, so I'm just gonna set the fold right on that word and then unfold it. Make sure it's nice and even, and then we just set it down into the plate. You don't want to stretch it at all. Now we're just going to fold these edges under, fold it right under itself and rest it on the lip of the pie plate. Again, I have lots of demonstrations on this, lots of videos on making homemade pie crust. So if you want a little slower version of what I'm doing now, you can check that out on my channel, any of the pie crust videos. All right, now to create the decorative edge, just gonna simply use 2 fingers and my knuckle to create that nice scalloped edge like this. 2 fingers and my knuckle. Just go all the way around. If it gets sticky, you can dab your knuckle in a little flour. There we go. Now we can just pull these back up onto the lip of the pie plate so they stay up while baking. Okay, this looks great. I'm going to take some saran wrap or plastic. This is called press and seal. It's a little different texture. Wrap that up gently, and then this is going to go into the freezer until we're ready to use it. Now the next step is to make the streusel topping. We have 3/4 cup all-purpose flour, 1/4 cup brown sugar, 1/8 teaspoon salt, and 1 teaspoon vanilla. I'm gonna add that to, this is 5 tablespoons melted butter. Give this a little mix first, my dry ingredients. And this streusel topping would work on just about any, fruit pie that you make. So keep this in mind if you're not in the mood to make a second crust. Just throw some streusel on there. Everybody loves it. And we'll add our 5 tablespoons melted butter. This is unsalted butter and vanilla. And then you just want to mix this together with a fork until it starts to form little crumbles and no flour remains. This is another great thing to make ahead. You can make this a few days before, leave it in the refrigerator, or a month before, leave it in the freezer. Now we'll cover this with some plastic wrap. And this goes in the refrigerator until we're ready to use it. Now, as I mentioned in the beginning, the first time I made strawberry pie, I found that the filling was really kind of bland. Once those cooked strawberries lose their juice, they kind of lost some of their flavor and color. They were a little kind of muted. So I thought, what could I use that would add some bold, bright color and flavor and also give this pie some structure so it's not just, you know, sinking, just a mushy mess. And what I decided on is some seedless red raspberry jam. It is a very bright, tart flavor and color. It gives it that kind of structure that we needed. So it works wonders on this strawberry pie. So we're going to use 1/3 cup of seedless strawberry jam, raspberry jam, sorry. Okay, we'll add that in here. To that, we're going to add 3 tablespoons cornstarch. You really have to have a good, strong thickener in a strawberry pie because for the same reasons, there's so much juice. You need to thicken it and then release some out the top in order to have something that you can cut and serve. So 3 tablespoons cornstarch. Now this can be adjusted. I have 1/4 cup of light brown sugar. You can use less if you feel like your strawberries are really sweet or if you just want a less sweet pie. So you can adjust this. The jam does have some sugar in it already, so this is probably less than you've seen in most strawberries pies. It's only 1/4 cup plus 1/3 cup of the jam. So, you know, feel free to reduce that to 3 tablespoons if you prefer. And then we'll also add, of course, a 1/2 teaspoon salt because we need to have some balance in there. You don't want to have all that sweetness with no salt. And next is 1 teaspoon vanilla. You'll see a lot of citrus pies have lemon juice or zest, and I actually really prefer the brown sugar vanilla combo. It's a little more buttery, a little, you know, just more vanilla rather than that citrus flavor. Now we're just gonna mix this until it is thoroughly combined and no lumps remain. There may be a few lumps from the brown sugar, but what you don't want is cornstarch lumps. So whisk that in until it's all combined. Okay, that looks great. Now we'll set this aside and move on to our strawberries. For the strawberries, I have about 2 pounds of strawberries here, stemmed and quartered. And I did do this yesterday, so you can do that if you like. Put some saran wrap on it, leave it in the fridge overnight, and it's ready to use the next day. To that, we'll add 1/4 cup brown sugar. And then we're gonna give this a quick toss. The sugar will help the strawberries start to release their juices. And then the cornstarch will thicken those juices as the pie is cooking. Oh my gosh, these strawberries smell so good. Whew, I think I have to have one. Have to. Oh my goodness. Now we'll let the strawberries sit for about 10 minutes and you'll start to see some juice starting to come out of them. But set them aside for about 10 minutes. In the meantime, we've got our baking sheet lined with parchment paper ready to go. We've got our oven preheating to 415 degrees. And then we'll just assemble the pie and throw it in the oven. Now it's time to assemble the pie. You can see the strawberries are getting nice and juicy. We'll take our jam mixture and add that to our strawberries. I'm excited for you to try this one and see what you think of the raspberry jam in there. I think it's just the right thing, just what this pie needed. All right, now we'll add, you don't want to let this sit for a long time because you're going to just keep getting more and more juice, and you don't want the juice to keep coming out until it's in the oven with the cornstarch cooking. So that's why we're going to be pretty quick once we mix the fruit and the jam together. Also, you'll notice that I did not thaw the crust, and you certainly don't want to use a warm crust for this. That is a big no-no for a juicy pie like this. You want to have a really cold crust. That way it'll help kind of protect the bottom and keep it more firm when it's baking. So I'm just going to press these down just a little bit to kind of fill some of the gaps. Since these are quarters, there's going to be some gaps. I do the same thing with apple pie. If you press down a little bit, you're not going to have these big gaps in the fruit. So it's a good technique for fruit pie. But again, I am working quickly because I don't want this really juicy fruit sitting on raw dough. That is one of the main causes of a really soggy bottom crust. And I know that's a big problem for a lot of people. So Number one thing is have a cold, cold crust, and don't leave your fruit sitting in there for a long time if it's a juicy fruit like this. Okay, that is gorgeous. Beautiful again. Look at that. All those yummy strawberries. So pretty. Now we'll add our streusel topping. Just going to sprinkle that on. Okay, so I'm kind of press this down for the same reason. You kind of want to press this streusel into the strawberries. There we go. One more look before it goes in the oven. Now I do have the baking sheet lined with parchment paper to catch any drips. You almost always get drips either from the crust, butter in the crust kind of melting down, or if it's a fruit pie especially, sometimes that bubbles over. So always bake on a baking sheet, and best to use parchment paper as well. Okay, this goes in the oven at 415 degrees for 20 minutes. Then we'll reduce the temperature to 375 degrees and bake for 40 to 50 minutes or until the crust is golden and the filling is soft and bubbling. Okay, so the timer went off. I'm gonna grab the pie, got my oven mitts. Oh my gosh, it looks amazing and the house smells so good. Isn't that beautiful? Let me get you an up close shot. Wow, I love how you can see all the strawberry on the sides, that bright red color. Got the streusel topping, beautiful flaky crust, stayed right in place. Now I am going to let this cool before I cut into it. It needs to cool for about 3 to 4 hours so it'll set up right. So I can't taste it right now, but I am going to try to taste it later. We will be out of town with family, so I'm going to try to get a little bit of footage of us tasting it there and see, take a poll and see what everyone thinks. So stay tuned for that. But for now, what I'm going to do is probably put a little towel down in here. This is my little trusty pie carrier, which is so cool. Then you'll just take the pie. You can see that butter dripped off the bottom. We can set it in here, and then we'll take our lid for the pie carrier, and it should just snap right into place. There we go. Now I can carry this to Dallas and we can enjoy it tonight. Isn't that so nice? I love this pie carrier.
There's a puppy underneath there.
Whoa!
It's wonderful.
It's delicious.
If you like this show, be sure to give us a thumbs up. It means so much. I'm really trying to continue to grow my YouTube channel, keep my website ad-free, and if y'all can like, subscribe, watch the videos, watch them again, share them with friends, hit the notification button so you get them right when they come out. That all means so much to me and my channel, and I really appreciate it. For this recipe and more, head over to my website, mariesaba.com. There you can go and print out this recipe and all my recipes, and if you like, put them in a notebook and make your very own Marie's Kitchen cookbook for free. My goal is to give you some really easy recipes that turn out great every time, so you can build some confidence in the kitchen and feel really inspired to share good food with people that you love. From my kitchen to yours, thank you. We'll see you next time.